Yeah, so like say you're in a lucid dream, like you get to the place. What do you do?
Um, well, in that case, when you become conscious of your dream, that world is yours, right? So whatever you want to do, whatever your spirit is calling you to do, you can essentially do. So a lot of times, one of the more common things that happen or people do um, when once they become lucid is a lot of people like to fly, right? That's like the number one thing that people want to do in a lucid dream is fly. Um, a lot of people want to go in to places that they've never been before or places that they dreamed. Some people want to create this reality where they're rich, where they're a king. A lot of people want to just have sex once they become lucid. So it depends on the person and depends on like how creative they want to be. And also in a lucid dream, that's a space where a lot of your creativity kind of opens up. So it just depends. For me, I think I'm at a point where, I lucid dreamed enough to where I've experienced all those things. And now I want to go deeper into, okay, how mystical and how transcendental can I make this moment or this opportunity to be lucid, right? So for me, it might look like, okay, I want to go and meet someone that has lived in the past or who was alive in the past, or perhaps I want to meet, what does it mean to be in the presence of God, right? Try to have that experience in my lucid dream. So as a person begins to develop their lucidity and dreaming, I believe the more complex their desires become.
Hmm. I mean, it's really obvious, but like because it's your imagination, so you can actually do anything. Now that's just occurred to me. But say like when I go to bed tonight, say if I want to like fly in my dream, like how do I do that?
Yeah. So I think the very first and the most important key ingredient to becoming lucid is an intention. Like you have to have the intention that, okay, I understand that this is real or I've had this experience before and I want to have it again. So I'm going to set the intention that I want to lucid dream. And from there, there's a lot of different techniques and things that goes along to kind of strengthen that intention, and then put yourself in a state to where becoming lucid is more probable. But the key ingredient is just having that intention. And then also sometimes, which is kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, woo woo, right? Well, a little woo woo. Like a lot of times, people will spontaneously have a lucid dream just by hearing people talk about lucid dreams, right? So, and an example will be like, if someone is listening to the interview and they've never lucid dreamed before, they maybe have had a lucid dream in the past, like, oh yeah, I remember lucid dreaming when I was a child. And then they're listening to this interview, they might actually have a lucid dream tonight. And I don't know what that, I haven't discovered or haven't developed a theory around why that happens. But apparently, like, that's a common thing when people start to hear about lucid dreaming, it triggers something within them to where they just kind of spontaneously have one recently, shortly after hearing about it. So
Now that's so cool that you can like have some sort of control over your dream. Like, so in theory as well, can you have like the same dream again? Because I think I've had that before, like over like sort of spaced out periods, the same dream multiple times, but you can sort of do that consciously.
yeah, so I label those as reoccurring dreams, and sometimes that happens in different forms. So a reoccurring dream might look like somebody having the same dream constantly over a number of days or over a number of months or weeks. And typically that is a signal that there's something that they really need to deal with. But then also there's been instances where a person has continued to dream from years before. I've talked to people and clients that were like, oh, I had a dream tonight or last night. And I remember like it was kind of the continuation of a dream that I had in my childhood where I was on a camping trip and I met this bear that I became friends with, and that was a dream that I had in my childhood, and so last night, our we continued that journey, and so yeah, they dreams do reoccur, and I think that oftentimes in those instances, it's definitely a message that needs to be learned there.
Yeah, I love these types of conversations because for me, I like seeing the overlap between the psychology and the spirituality. And I love that really maybe they use different terminology, but they're kind of singing from the same hymn sheet. Right? You've got what you're talking about with this idea of gathering messages from your dream, and the idea that you can be communicated lessons, and we can dream consciously and go into a sort of different world inside of us, right? And the psychoanalysts, Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, the big famous ones, talked about that in their dream analysis stuff, that is where the unconscious communicates with you, and it's often in a symbolic manner. I mean, I remember in the lockdowns where my sport was taken away and I lost motivation and I wasn't even sure if I was going to continue anymore. I remember having this vivid dream about training with my club, but all the lights were off in the sports hall. And I remember getting so frustrated with the fact that the lights were off. And I was trying to explain to people, like, why are the lights not on? Like, we can't play. I can't see the basket. I can't see you. I can't, like, what's going on? I spoke to my mom about this the next day, and she was like, well, that's what your unconscious is trying to communicate to you, that you feel in the dark with this. You don't know whether you want to continue. It's been taken away from you, right? So you've been thrust into the dark. Now, that's a small world example, and I think people might be cynical and skeptical of these ideas. But my response to that would be, well, whether it's objectively true or not that your dreams communicate to you, it's helpful for you to actually analyze it, right? If that was a daydream that you had, something you were thinking about, you'd maybe feel a bit more, I don't know, accepting of it. But really, any messages we can take about our life from our minds are super useful, and understanding that insight helps you to navigate the world.